Welcome to Corrective Consciousness episode 231, the podcast where we explore the inanity of pop culture. I am your host, vysethebold, and this is...
Lotus Prince.
And Dracologist. Good evening.
Line. But yeah, we have another wonderful show here. So this is going to be an extension of our Tuesday podcast. It's kind of a reactive part two, if you will, just because so much happened this week in terms of media in general. So I wanted to give everything its due. But the first thing that I wanted to go over is the Funimation and Crunchyroll news. Apparently, Funimation is buying Crunchyroll, which I'm not a fan of. I think it stinks. But
yeah, this is going to end poorly, I think.
I think it's mostly bad because there's really only two major anime streaming services, and this is them, and they're consolidating. So
yeah, there's kind of Netflix, sort of.
Well, all the other ones have anime on them, but Netflix has its own anime series, which is pretty cool. But they don't have a ton of anime. They just have some, really popular stuff, and then a couple original series. Like they have High Score Girl, which some people really like. I actually watched High Score Girl, and I have problems with the story, but I like seeing all the the cameos of the video games. I call shenanigans on an entire story that revolves around a silent girl. She doesn't even have a voice in the game in the series, which I think is terrible. But yeah, I mean, Crunchyroll was kind of a say what you want about them, but they were kind of like the peppy independent
well, for a while.
service. Yeah, exactly. So they kind of had their own voice, but they were doing really well, and now they're being bought out by the biggest name in the anime in the Western world, for sure. So and that it comes with all of their own self-censoring and all that other stuff that Funimation likes to do, right? Are they still doing that kind of stuff to the westernized versions of One Piece and all that stuff, Lotus?
I don't know.
Oh, okay, because I thought you watched some of that stuff, but
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not doing comparisons.
Gotcha. I don't know whether they're still taking out people's corncob pipes and stuff like that.
Well, that was for kids. Everybody laughed that off when Funimation took over.
No,
okay.
I heard someone in Funimation what the accusation was the sort of, what was it? How was it put it? They rewritten the dub text, which was not even in a very sort of unsavory way.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's anime on Hulu and there's anime on Amazon Prime, which are the other big services. I mean, you have Studio Ghibli or Ghibli on HBO Max.
Nice.
But yeah, I don't think, other than Netflix, I think all the other services have they don't have first run anime. They don't have brand new stuff that's coming out. They have a lot of classics on there. I think Hulu has things what's that's Space Dandy. They have Space Dandy on it. That was the last anime that I watched on Hulu, and I don't think they have any new anime. They certainly don't have exclusives. And Amazon Prime has a lot of that kind of classic stuff, kind of the stuff that Lupin the Third and stuff from the 80s and 70s and early 90s. There's stuff like Pat Labor and things like that on those on that service. So it really stinks that all you have is Netflix, which is a generalized service, and now this. I'm not a big fan of this big corporate consolidations. It kind of stinks. I don't know if anybody else has any opinions of it, but
I don't have.
That's pretty much it.
I don't use any of these services, so I can't.
Yeah. I mean, I don't belong to Crunchyroll. That's another thing. My knowledge, my anime tastes are rooted in the time period in which I liked anime, and then that was it. I very rarely like something brand new, because a lot of anime isn't for
brand new anymore.
The 35-year-old. It's not. It's for young people. There's an occasional adult oriented one that I really like, but it's few and far between. But the other big thing that happened in manga and anime is apparently Chainsaw Man, which is one of the biggest series right now. Part one of it. I'm sorry.
Gets an anime adaptation. What I heard.
Yeah, it's getting an anime adaptation done.
What I heard about it, someone said it's crazier than Dorohedoro, and Dorohedoro is pretty crazy.
Yeah, isn't that the one where he gets a lizard head?
Yes, the main character has a lizard head for some reason, and that's the least of it, my boy.
Yeah, that's just what they do to describe what kind of crap you're going to be watching.
I could the best I describe Dorohedoro is body horror done by Studio Ghibli.
Yeah, that's what I hear, and that would be up my alley. I just haven't watched it, but
it's an interesting
Chainsaw
story.
Man seems even more up my alley. It's demon hunting, but with everybody has chainsaws, that kind of thing.
Something like that.
Yeah, the main character has a demon that turns into a chainsaw.
His body, if the cover can be believed, that his part of his body has become chainsaws.
Gotcha. I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I've always been a fan of the chainsaw as a horror trope. I like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's a perennial favorite of mine, and also Army of Darkness and all the Evil Dead stuff. I'm actually watching Astros the Evil Dead currently. That kind of aesthetic does speak to me. But apparently, the part one of the manga is also wrapping up, which means that I think the anime is supposed to be based off of the part one of the manga. I think the manga is also switching publications. It's going from Shonen Jump to something else. So the part one is wrapping up, and then part two is going to start somewhere else, which doesn't happen very often. Usually in Japan, it doesn't switch publishers like that very often. Popular series. So I wonder what happened there. That's interesting, but we'll see. Yeah. Moving on from that, Disney Plus came out with Disney came out with a whole bunch of really good financial information on their company, and they did really well in the stock market last week. If you were paying attention to that kind of thing. But they have a ton of subscribers right now, loads, and I think it's mostly bolstered by the Mandalorian in particular.
Yeah.
The Mandalorian's just so good. I don't think people are exaggerating how good that show is. I've been keeping up on it, and it's really fun. It's one of the best Star Wars things to ever happen.
Yes,
it's really
considering what happened, there's a few.
Well, it's not even less hey, this is pretty good. No, it's it's up there with the original trilogy. It's really good.
And what I heard, it's kind of making Koiful Winks with the extended universe, which is.
It's not even Winks at this point. It's just straight up in the extended universe.
Which is fucking awesome.
Ahsoka showed up last episode.
Apparently, there is mention of Dark Troopers at some point.
Yeah, Dark Troopers are part of the main series for the first time ever.
Which are
yeah,
nice.
which is we Lotus and I talked about this. They're from the old Dark Forces first-person shooter game, like the original one. I don't think the Dark Troopers are even in any of the sequels.
Can we have another series of it, Kyle Katarn, please?
Yeah,
that'd be amazing.
He's like the fucking.
I bet you they'll add him.
Jedi
I bet you
character.
they will, because I mean, what do we have at this point? We have. Like they added a whole bunch of fan service characters, but like it's cool that they did that. So, but anyway, so I was kind of suspecting this, but I was kind of thinking that Ahsoka might be added because she is Anakin's Padawan. So she is a very prevalent character in the Star Wars extended universe. Being Anakin's Padawan it shouldn't be a minor thing. That's like a major thing. So she had never been in live action before, and she came played as Rosario Dawson. She had always been in cartoon form in Clone Wars, the Cartoon Network show, which is also quite good. And
heard it.
It's kind of funny that everything but the movies is good in Star Wars now.
Well, yeah, because the movies, like,
made by
Disney, blown out of
one
proportion.
third of them are any good.
Yeah, they're blown out of proportion. That's their problem.
There is a lot of problem
there's too
here.
much weight put on them. But anyway, I kind of thought that Ahsoka was too prevalent in that episode to kind of just fall by the wayside as like a side character. I thought maybe she might become part of like the main cast of Mandalorian, and it turns out that was like a backdoor pilot for an Ahsoka series. And Disney Plus announced that she's getting her own series this week, which is pretty neat. I think Jon Favreau is heading that one as well, so that will be good as well. I just hope he doesn't get spread too thin, because Mandalorian on its own is fan-freaking-tastic, and we have Jon Favreau to thank for as successful as the Marvel universe is, along with the Russo brothers, I would say too. But I mean, he started it off with a bang. I mean, Iron Man, like the original Iron Man's great. But they also announced that Obi-Wan Kenobi, the show for that has been floating around, and people knew that Ewan McGregor was going to be in that. But they also announced that Hayden Christensen was going to return as Darth Vader, which, like, goddamn, wow.
Well, a lot of people were wondering how that would work, because there's that famous line from A New Hope. When last we met, I was but a learner, but now I'm the master. So, like, are they ever going to meet in that series? Because if they do, it'll be a little weird.
I don't know. And also, like, we're used to Darth Vader having the voice of James Earl Jones. So,
it's really hard to find
we've seen Anakin be Darth Vader. Is fine.
Have we?
Oh no, sorry. We've seen Anakin as Hayden Christensen. Sorry, yeah, we had, like, the moment he became Darth Vader, he was voiced by James Earl Jones.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, in what capacity is Hayden Christensen going to be Darth Vader? Like, what? Like, is he going to be in the suit, like, or just voicing him? What's going on here? This is supposed to take place in between episode 3 and 4, right? So it would have to. So what's going on with the series? I have no idea. But I mean, it has Ewan McGregor is a fantastic actor, and so I have faith that it's going to be good.
I can't believe they got the guy who played the Black Mask to be Obi-Wan.
The guy who was in Fargo season 3 as two different characters.
Incredible! They got that guy to play Obi-Wan. Wow.
There's also going to be a prequel to Rogue One starring the character of Andor.
Oh, thank God! That guy.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I forgot the name of all the characters in that one, except for
that's an easy one to remember.
Or Alan Tudyk's droid character, who is awesome.
Well, there you go. What's the droid's name? I don't fucking know. I mean, the
droid
is the best.
He was the best character in that. He was the best character in that. There's Rangers of the New Republic, which I think is going to be a spin-off of Mandalorian. I think it's going to follow around the the X-wing pilots from that that have been introduced this season. There's going to be a new Lando series, which surprised the shit out of me.
Yeah, I've always wanted to know more of his backstory.
I mean, that's potentially interesting. I mean,
if it will be like from Solo, I don't care.
I mean,
I want to see him
Glover did a good job.
I want to see him climb the corporate ladder and manage Cloud City.
He's just hanging out with that guy with the android with that thing on the back of his
Lobot.
head. Yeah, Lobot.
I want to see him hanging out. I want to see him hiring like 30 Ugnaughts.
Yeah, I don't know whether Lando is going to have Donald Glover in it. I doubt it. But I'm not sure. But there's a new series called Acolyte. I don't even know what that's about. The Bad Batch. So this is apparently supposed to be a sequel series to Clone Wars. The Bad Batch is supposed to follow around, like
is Disney just trying to bank on Star Wars at this point?
Yeah, don't announce fucking 9 Star Wars things. I'm
exhausted just
looking at the title cards.
Yeah, the Bad Batch is, I think, kind of supposed to be like a Dirty Dozens version of the Clone Wars.
Oh, I thought it was supposed to be the Skywalker trilogy. Hey! Got him.
That is the Bad Batch. What's funny is, in retrospect, the prequels are looking better than them.
Well, yeah, everybody hated the prequels more than anything, but when the new trilogy came out, they're like, well, at least the prequels were fucking cohesive, because they had a plan. Yeah. I didn't like the plan, but there was a plan.
I didn't like the acting or the story, but it was there.
Yeah, well, the acting was there in the new trilogy as well. The story was not.
Somewhat.
The acting was fine. I mean, Adam Driver did.
Adam Driver carried the entire trilogy. Holy shit.
Yeah. No, Adam Driver's character could have just been his character.
He is the real protagonist.
The pilot, right?
What's up?
Adam Driver is the pilot, right?
No, Adam Driver is
Kylo Ren.
Kylo Ren, yeah. The main
that guy
villain.
fucking killed. He like just dominated the entire 3 movies.
Oh, right, yes.
Andy Serkis was barely in it. But apparently this one looked pretty cool. Star Wars Visions. So this is kind of a series that is supposed to be kind of like vignettes, like every almost like a Twilight Zone, maybe not with a twist at the end of every episode,
if
but
you
like
will.
a self-contained. Yeah, like a self-contained story. Like a what's that called? Anthology series.
I actually read like a book way back in the day in high school or college or something that it was vignettes, but it all centered around the cantina, where just like various characters in it, like it focused a little bit on what they were doing. It was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I like that kind of story, but like the problem with it is that like how many of those things can you come up with, like single stories that have no continuity?
Well, no, that's kind of... See, I'm thinking the opposite. Like, you could come up with an unlimited number of them. The real question is, how many can you come up with that don't, like, rely on characters from the 1970s?
Yeah.
Like, Star Wars is a whole universe, and yet we cannot escape Luke, Han, Leia. Like, The Mandalorian was the first time we did. Like, The Force Awakens was going to, but then it didn't. And it's like, oh well.
Yeah. And a droid story, which I think is going to center around C-3PO and R2-D2. That's a cool
We already
concept.
have a droid story. It's called the original trilogy.
Well, there's also
the
Star Wars
animation
droids.
story droids.
You're forgetting about the actual.
I want to see Anakin programming C-3PO with 6 million languages, not including ancient Sith,
and making him forget.
Yeah, like censoring ancient Sith runes and putting red lights in his eyes that never light up for like 30 years. But if you're ever about to do something weird, he gets the red eyes, which I didn't know he had those light bulbs in his eyes, but I guess he did.
And also Hayden Christensen making himself intentionally forget who the hell C-3PO was, and like despite seeing him multiple times.
Yeah. Did Darth Vader ever see 3PO? And I swear that was not a pun. But did Darth Vader ever see that robot?
I think he saw him in Cloud City.
Well, that's what I'm wondering. Was C-3PO like with the people at the dinner table? He
got trashed.
At this point,
he got trashed.
Yeah.
At this point, at some point, you see that the protocol droids are very same look-alike, so it might be like,
that's true. But C-3PO, I don't know if he ever saw Vader.
I mean, did Vader see him board the Millennium Falcon in A New Hope? When they were running away?
If he did, they would have been far away. Because I'm just wondering, 3PO, my old droid. What a pleasure it is to see you again. 3PO's like, what the fuck?
I think that part died him. So
I mean, it's Star Wars.
It's my old protocol droid from when I was a boy. This is weird.
Yeah, it's Star Wars. It's revisionist all the time.
By the way,
okay.
Leia's Luke's sister.
Yeah.
What?
That wasn't a thing to be. By the way, Adam Driver is the cousin of Rey.
Yeah.
I mean, people like to argue against it because they don't like to think about it, but that is what the implication is.
If you survive the fucking Return of the Jedi, then you can survive this.
Well, in the prequels, they literally strongly imply that Palpatine is Anakin's father. Strongly
Palpatine fucks.
No, he doesn't. That was the whole point of that conversation. Is that he made he impregnated Anakin's mom with the Force.
Oh yeah, that was bizarre.
That was the implication of that conversation. But yeah, he apparently learned from Darth Plagueis.
Palpatine cosmic fucks. Got it.
I fuck with midichlorians. But anyway. And a bunch of Marvel stuff too. So we had already heard about this stuff, but
oh boy,
another Disney exhausting list that makes me immediately want to not watch any of them, even though any of them individually sounds interesting. All of these actually sound interesting, but when you say I have 12 new Marvel projects, fuck off. This is why I dropped the movies in the first place.
You're gonna get lost in it. I'm
not even trying. I'm not even gonna try. Fuck this. All of them sound cool. But all of them together sound exhausting. I don't even want to bother.
You can pick and choose. I mean, I'm only gonna watch probably Ahsoka and Obi-Wan out of the new ones. I don't know.
Well, I mean, that's how I started the MCU. I picked and chose. I was like, well, I don't know Thor very well. I won't watch that. And I don't know Captain America very well. I won't watch that. But then I saw Avengers. I'm like, fuck, I should have watched those movies. And so, I'm not fucking bothering.
Yeah. Well. WandaVision is going to be an important series, I would say. So WandaVision is, of course, Scarlet Witch and Vision in their own little pocket universe, trying to find their way through that. There's going to be the Falcon and Winter Soldier, which has really good potential. Sebastian Stan and who plays the Falcon? I forget his name. But anyway, Loki series. I mean, Tom Hiddleston. Is very charming on his own. So, also this is a pre-reconciled Loki because of what happened in Endgame. This is Avengers 1 Loki got away out of the timeline, not the one that had developed.
Oh yeah, I actually checked out the trailer, and it looks like that as Loki is going inside the SAP Foundation.
Yeah, it's weird. This series seems really cool. This is going to be an anthology series. What If?
Yeah, that is the only thing that I might be interested in checking out, because the whole point is that it's just this weird, I'll show you a thing and then it'll be over.
Yeah, I mean, this one is definitely a Twilight Zone version of the Marvel universe.
It's Marvel's Elseworlds, basically.
Yeah, what if what
if Wolverine were king of
Hawkeye
the vampires?
Were more like Batman? Yeah, what if they were vampires? What if Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive llama?
What if Spider-Man kept his 6 arms? What if he married Black Cat instead of Mary Jane?
Exactly,
which are all real things, by the way.
Yeah. I'm excited about that. There's going to be a Miss Marvel series, Hawkeye series. That make all these things
think
are
that's
not
trying to be the Arrow, like the Green Arrow. They're trying to capitalize on the Green Arrow.
Well, the thing with Green Arrow is that everybody says once they started focusing on this one character, Felicity, the series fell apart, and Felicity is not in the Marvel universe, so maybe there's hope after all.
I don't know. Jeremy Renner has his own thing going on. I mean, he's not. Also, like there's a bunch of other baggage in the Arrowverse that is its own kind of thing. You know, it's mixed.
I only know Hawkeye from being like Iron Man's. Is one of Iron Man's sidekicks, rarely appearing on its own. And in the comics, he was been pretty much destroyed as a character.
Yeah, he has some really cool moments in the comic book. Like one of them is like being captured and put in prison, but they forget to cut his nails, and he ends up cutting off his nail and flicking it at a guy and killing him.
Nice.
Like some badass moments like that.
That's more of a bullseye sort of thing.
Yeah, it is, but that happened.
Okay.
She-Hulk is getting her own series. That I am actually looking forward to.
I can actually see that being cool because she really is a very different character. Hopefully, it will be better than
the current comics.
Oh, she's not even close. In fact, she doesn't like her human form at all. She feels like she's completely self-realized as She-Hulk, whereas Bruce Banner resents his Hulk form.
Yeah. Also,
in most incarnations.
I know it's come to the point where the Hulk can talk, but She-Hulk, that's like her whole thing. She's like a person.
Oh, she's super intelligent. Yeah, she's super intelligent. Yeah.
The Hulk is intelligent as too, but the thing
depends
is
on the version. It depends on the version of him. Yeah, I mean the Hulk has had many permutations, many different versions of Hulk. So I mean, his traditional form is
angry.
You know, a almost mindless like Gollum. In most incarnations.
Actually, the original interpretation was as Mr. Jekyll, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Well,
at some point that he was grey, and he actually communicated with each other through notes.
Yeah, and in the first issue.
Yeah, and he had the look of Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, but eventually he became a force of nature that just went from town to town and fucked everything up. I mean, that was the way that's his traditional interpretation. And then later on, we get Intelligent Hulk, which they recently brought into Endgame and stuff like that. But there's also Grey Hulk. There's also
Red Hulk or the
other
Hulk.
What's that?
The Red Hulk, the Hulk.
Well, Red Hulk is a different Hulk.
That's not Bruce Banner.
That's Ross. Thunderbolt Ross is Red Hulk, but he's not Bruce Banner. But yeah, She-Hulk is really cool, and she's actually a lawyer while being She-Hulk, right?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Yeah, which is that has its own like interesting stuff going on about it. A Moon Knight series. These
that would be interesting.
Yeah, that would be very interesting too. He's kind of like a Batman for Marvel almost.
If Batman was completely crazy.
Well, Batman's kind of
Batman is kind of
bordering
crazy,
on
not
sociopath, depending on who writes him. But all that stuff had been announced, but they're saying it's definitely coming to Disney Plus. And then they added 4 new shows. One of them being Secret Invasion with Samuel L. Jackson. That seems really interesting. So the Secret Invasion storyline in the comics was the Skrulls were coming and taking over, doing like an invasion of the Body Snatchers kind of thing with the heroes in the Marvel universe, and they had to figure out which ones were Skrulls. Kind of like the Thing style almost as well.
Yeah, it's less morbid, but still very sort of the Among Us style of is a social deduction game going on.
Yeah, but this is pretty cool that they have Samuel L. Jackson. Samuel L. Jackson led a Nick Fury series. Having to do with the Skrulls. The Skrulls were only ever in one of the Marvel movies, and it was in Captain Marvel, and they were a completely different role than their typical depiction, which is part of the point.
Kind of torpedoes the point in the whole series a little bit.
Yeah, the Kree were the bad guys for once, which is kind of funny. And the Skrulls were the ones that were oppressed, which was it's a pretty interesting way to make it work. Ironheart, which is the successor to Iron Man, that is the female Iron Man that is Iron Man in the comics now.
Yes, I didn't hear too much. Like in the comics, she is a little bit of a psychopath.
Oh, really? I don't know much.
Not intentionally, mind you. It's just like if you are reading out with like, oh, she's so great, but in reality, she like just behaves like someone who is like a psychopath.
What about Tony Stark, the irresponsible drunk who created fucking Ultron?
Yes, that's but true. Like
Tony Stark's a pretty shitty person, all things considered.
Yeah,
he's also the leader of the bad side of Civil War.
Yeah,
he's canonically the bad guy of Civil War. He's
an industrialist.
You're supposed to see Captain America as the good guy. I mean, in Civil War, and Civil War in the comics was way more brutal than the one in the movies. The one in the movies was more like a friendly skirmish. The one in the comic books, like actual people died in that. So anyway, Iron Wars, which is supposed to be, what if, bad guys got a hold of Iron Man's technology in the 80s?
Yeah, that was one of the later animated series. There was an animated series about this, or at least a part of the animated series where he.
I'm looking forward to that because all the different iron suits against each other. That's pretty sweet.
But the thing is, though, the iron suits have to be distinctive. Like, I don't want this to be Michael Bay's Transformers, where it's like, oh, parts of metal are hitting some other parts of metal.
No, they're all supposed to have different purposes. All of his suits do something.
No, I am aware of that. I just don't want to see 16 Iron Man suits, and I'm like, what the fuck is who is anybody?
Well, I think the purpose is supposed to be, from episode to episode, they're going to feature something different. I don't think they're going to be all on the screen at once until maybe a culmination.
Yeah, the epic finale.
Like that. Yeah, exactly. And then this floored me. Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special.
Oh yeah, that's going to be when there's an animated section, and then Gamora sings about Life Day, and you're like, why did I watch this shit?
And weird Wookiee porn for some reason.
Yeah, and Groot watches softcore, not quite porn.
And B. Arthur shows up for no reason.
And
Boba Fett.
Oh no! This is gonna bother me. What was this is really bad on my part. What was the name of the actor who played Hedley Lamar
Hedley
in Blazing Saddles? What was that guy's name?
Oh, I don't know his name.
But he also shows up in multiple roles.
Oh, geez.
I'll look it up, but you keep going. This is gonna
I don't know, but
bug me.
What the thing that kills me about this is that Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special is actually going to be written by James Gunn.
Harvey Korman. There we go.
Oh, there you go. Is actually going to be written and directed by James Gunn, so he's going to reference.
So Lloyd Kaufman's going to show up.
The Star Wars Holiday Special, and it's going to be funny as shit. So I can't wait. It's also supposed to be a teaser for Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
None of the characters actually show up in person. They're all on monitors. Oh, I hope to be there soon. Bye, and that's their role in the movie.
Yeah, I don't know if Peter Quill is going to fight. Is actually going to address the things that he's done.
Yeah.
Because even though it wasn't intentional, he didn't mean to screw everything up, but it's because of Peter Quill that the Avengers Endgame happened. Like they could have fought back Thanos, but he got mad because he killed Gamora. So he helped the catastrophes that happened. So anyway, I thought that was really interesting, and a whole bunch of Pixar stuff is coming. But like the main thing being that there is going to be a Buzz Lightyear, like the actual Buzz Lightyear, like the story of Buzz Lightyear, not the character.
Yeah, the inspiration for what would like be made into a toy.
Yeah, starring Chris Evans, so not Tim Allen for once.
Yeah, so we get to see him, I guess, battle Emperor Zurg. The closest we came to that was like Toy Story 2.
Well, there was a TV show. There was Buzz Lightyear Star.
I forgot about that. Yeah, there was a cartoon. I forgot about that. Yeah.
But I assume this is supposed to be a prequel even to that.
So spoilers. He doesn't kill Zurg. We know that for a fact. Why even watch it?
Also, a blatant parody of Star Wars, like I Am Your Father. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, this was, of course, way before they had purchased Lucasfilm. But yeah, these were just some of the things, and I thought it was like, this is way too much for me to talk about during the regular course of Recon with everything else that we had. And then a couple more things, and we can go on to fan stuff. But another major thing that popped up is we kind of were hearing rumors of this, but we actually got confirmation that Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Kirsten Dunst are getting added to the new Tom Holland Spider-Man movie, which is insane. They're doing a different Spider-Verse.
I hope Tobey Maguire has his role in Spider-Verse where he's just like washed out and he's like, fuck this shit. Except Kirsten Dunst is there, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's heavily implied that that's supposed to be, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man in Enter the Spider-Verse, but it's never, confirmed. It was also not him doing the voice of him.
Does Tobey Maguire ever say, I'd better not flip these pizzas or Mr. Aziz is gonna flip out?
Mr. Aziz is gonna flip out. But I forgot all about it. But,
Doc Connor's class.
That's so good. But yeah, look up that stuff, folks. It's real, genuine voice acting by Tobey Maguire.
It just sounds like, let me just get this line over with. It's great.
Well, it's exactly what it is. But yeah, I'm excited because like, when do we ever get something like this to happen? Like where they actually acknowledge that Spider-Man has gone through a bunch of permutations in universe.
Yeah.
I think that's really awesome. I mean, they kind of hinted at that at the end of Far From Home. They had J.K. Simmons show up as J. Jonah Jameson, and everybody was like, what the fuck?
I hope Ben Reilly shows up, and they just don't explain it at all. Like they did that in the 90s cartoon toward the end, where Spider-Man had to team up with...
who the hell are you? Oh, you
I don't even want to know your story. Just some blonde guy, like, what? And they just don't touch it.
I mean, nobody wants to know about maximum clonage, was it?
Whatever it was.
Yeah, it was maximum clonage, yeah. But yeah, really crazy stuff going on here with Spider-Man. I think it's really cool that they're doing like multiple universe things with Spider-Man in particular in two different permutations of Spider-Man. Like you got all the comic book and cartoon Spider-Man over in the cartoon, and you have all of the live action Spider-Man in the other one meeting up. I just think it's just so neat. They must have made some really cool deal over there with Sony to be able to do this kind of thing, and also be able to like grab their live action versions of Spider-Man, and acknowledge it. I mean, I thought Andrew Garfield was actually a good Spider-Man. It's just his second movie was garbage.
Yeah, I thought he was a brilliant Spider-Man, but like not the best Peter Parker. And it was the reverse for Tobey Maguire. I thought he was a great Peter Parker and like an okay Spider-Man.
Yeah. He was a great Peter Parker. And the first two of that one are
Spider-Man 2 was like the definitive superhero movie for a while.
It's still very good. I really, you know what? I always go back to that moment where he's trying to save the people on the elevated train.
Yeah.
And just like that's Spider-Man as T, like just doing every fucking thing he can in order to do it, and he's still not strong enough.
By the way, you know what would be great? By the way, like this is not happening. Like it's not happening. But it'd be great if like when the various Spider-Men are not together in one shot, like this is the Tobey Maguire section, this is the Andrew Garfield section, if their respective directors would handle direct the filming of their scenes, so like Tobey Maguire
Sam
scenes
Raimi,
have like that Sam Raimi touch and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, with the swooping camera and all
that.
Yeah,
and with the
Bruce Campbell shows up for half a second.
Scene when Dr. Octopus flips out and kills all the scientists, and it's like terrifying.
Yeah, and Bruce Campbell shows up in a cameo role for just half a second.
On the Human Spider? Oh, that sucks. It's freaking great.
I've been showing my wife the Army of Darkness movies recently.
There we go.
It's we watched Evil Dead 2 and then Army of Darkness.
Evil Dead 2 is like untouchable. I might like Army of Darkness a little more, but Evil Dead 2 is just so damn good.
Evil Dead 2 is just perfection. That's one of my favorite.
The scene with the mirror is like, I have no idea how they did that.
Oh, yeah, they had him play it from both sides, and they kind of like reversed it.
That was nuts.
Yeah, but we're actually watching Ash vs. the Evil Dead right now, and we saw the first 2 episodes. It's so good. It's really good, and they keep the like unseeable evil that chases you as an unseeable evil that chases you, which is awesome.
Which is just Jason Voorhees.
It's just an unseeable evil. It's chasing whoever it's chasing. They can see it, but you.
By the way, you heard that like apparently that Jason Voorhees is a Deadite.
Yeah, that's confirmed in one of the movies, right? Jason Goes to Hell, isn't it?
I don't know, but apparently it's confirmed. And Jason Voorhees is often have those moments where he just come out away chasing at people at high speed. So I just made that connection that they are being chased by Jason Voorhees.
Maybe, and it is in the woods, which is Jason's home. So
and also Manhattan. He took Manhattan.
he took all of Manhattan.
That time he took it.
Where he was there for 5 minutes, even though the whole movie was named after.
Remember that time he went to space? And he went into the holodeck woods. That was legitimately good. That was like actually clever. Where they just distract him with campers. And he's like, I guess I'll kill him.
Say what you want about Jason X. It's actually like not a low tier.
It's kind of alright.
Friday the 13th movie. Yeah, it's not that bad.
Speaking of which, just a little side note of speaking of Friday the 13th, there was like someone made a sort of this mini comic about what if Jason Voorhees didn't die and he became like sort of this the Crystal Lake Coastal Guard, and is it park patroller.
And Mrs. Voorhees was just a nice lady.
Yeah, like
no, I don't think that is
implanted, but guys, get back to work, and that's it.
And it's just this giant, muscular guy with a schemas doing very nice, like terrifying things, but actually just being nice, and
don't run around the lake. Careful, watch your feet. Thanks, Jason.
Something like that.
You can have fun, but don't run.
Yeah, you probably find it on someplace if you look for it.
Like, following the rules can be fun too. Okay, whatever, Jason.
You don't say no to this guy. Like.
But anyway, so also this was like kind of out of nowhere. This is unrelated to the superhero stuff, but I just thought it was cool. They announced on IGN of all places, like an exclusive trailer for a movie called Nobody, starring Bob Odenkirk, which I am very excited for.
Starring Odysseus.
My name is Nobody.
What's that?
Starring Odysseus.
Oh, no, what were you saying, Dracologist?
My name is Nobody.
Yeah.
If you know that movie.
I don't know. So it sounds like Dracologist saw this. Did you see this, Lotus?
Nope.
Okay, so it is by like the producers of John Wick, and it looks like to be John Wick, but with Bob Odenkirk, which looks amazing. He looks he is clearly somebody who left the gangster life, and then people are starting to fuck with him and his family.
Mm.
It's basically what if John Wick still had his family,
but he's still John Wick,
has to protect him, but has to protect them. Yeah, it's actually that kind of scenario. So like Bob Odenkirk like is. You think he's just like a normal dude, and then you find out no, he's just acting like a normal dude, like just to not stir the pot, like at the beginning of John Wick. But his family is something that he's actually protecting. So this is basically the version of John Wick, but he has something to defend.
You know what that kind of reminds me of? There was, I think, a manga, and I think they made or are making like a live action movie of it, but it's like a comical take on this. I think it was called something like My Boyfriend is a Yakuza or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Where this guy was some hardcore badass and he's just trying to live a normal life, but he's having a difficult time getting out of the Yakuza mindset when he's just like folding laundry or whatever. It's like, this will be my mission. And he just does like mundane household chores. It's just amusing.
Oh, sorry, I folded it wrong. Don't.
No, it's not even that. It's just like a cop stops him for biking fast, but it's not really a big deal. But he's like a Yakuza, so he's like, "Is this a big deal?" And they're just having this awkward conversation. It's just kind of funny.
Yeah.
Honestly, when I heard first, like Nobody, my third thought was the Terence Hill movie.
Well,
you didn't heard about that one, did you?
I really like crime films, and I really like action films, and I also love Bob Odenkirk. He's been in a billion things that I've loved over the years. I mean, he was in Fargo season 1.
Who was he in that?
He's the police chief.
Oh, the incompetent police chief?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was like an old face in it. But like, yeah. Bob Odenkirk's in a bunch of great stuff. I mean, he's Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. Not to mention, all of his comedy stuff. Mr. Show and Fun with what is it? The sequel series to that. What was it called? I forget what it was. Fun with Bob and who's the other guy in Mr. Show? David Cross. Yeah, Bob and David. Yeah. So I'm really excited just to watch that because I know it'll be good. Everything that he's in is like really great. Also, I wanted to mention Song Machine Live. I don't know whether you saw this, Lotus, but we're big Gorillaz fans. But there was a Gorillaz a series of 3 live performances streamed. Which was really cool this weekend.
Yeah, I didn't see the actual streams. I just knew that it was coming.
So they ended up playing the most recent album, all of it, Song Machine Volume 1, Strange Times, and they actually had Robert Smith there on stage.
Oh my god.
It was really good. They really rocked out during that song, and that was like the debut song. I bought a ticket to that, which actually was very reasonable. Normally you have to pay a whole bunch of money to see a concert. Obviously, it could cost up to like $100, by the end of it, with fees and everything. But you could buy a $15 ticket and watch this live stream. And not only that, but you have access to the live stream for 24 hours, so you can rewatch it or rewind parts, and if you caught it at the wrong time, that kind of thing. So I thought that was a really neat way to do performances, and they did a live performance each time. It wasn't like they just rebroadcasted or anything. They actually played their instruments. They just didn't have a live audience. They just broadcast it. So I thought that was really neat. They had a bunch of holograms show up for the people that obviously couldn't get to the UK. Obviously, they're not going to have somebody like Beck get easily over to London at this point. That's not a real possibility, but they had him there as a hologram, which is in true Gorillaz spirit. That's quite all right, having him singing on stage as a hologram. I thought that was pretty neat. But definitely worth it. I absolutely recommend to people to maybe follow up. I think you by the time you listen to this, obviously you won't be able to hear it, but they might give you an option to purchase like a rebroadcast of it or something like that, because why wouldn't they? But I just wanted to express how much I enjoyed it. Anything else that we can go over before we move on to fan stuff, gentlemen?
No, I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Please continue there, Lotus.
Alrighty. So, we have, Dracologist's own comment. Have any of you played Captain Bible? Nope.
Nope.
And then,
look it
also, OG Commander Keen is still id rather than Apogee. Okay. I forgot about that, actually. And then
but it was published by Apogee.
Empire of Sin looked and sounded very nice with some nice touches. Difficulty tweaks will always happen. Dark Troopers were cool. They were basically Imperial battle droids and Stormtrooper armor with jetpacks. They were Empire special units in Galactic Battleground, so they were outside Dark Forces. And then Atomie Anthology will be terrifying if a bit repetitive. Yeah, even
it did get repetitive.
Vice, when you lent me the book, like the compilation of Tomie, like there came a point where I'm like, I get it. Like the stories were different, but it's like Tomie shows up, it's weird.
She ends up getting
gets enchanted, then murders her, then that's it.
What a curse! She's like a nightmare for everyone around her, but then she gets stabbed to death like every time. Fucking bizarre.
Yeah.
Okay, so Baka Sensei says, hello, long time, first comment. Hope you're all keeping safe distance. And sorry, Vice, I've been out of Nintendo for a while now, just to make a few comments on Nintendo history. Just know I'm not sure on everything. I guess they're just blocking any future legal conflict, like Vice mentioned. Is Nintendo making sure they have full control on how the IP is used? They have been more and more strict. I just don't trust them at all. The ROMs and pirating games is normally bad, unless it's for archiving history, but modified games should be fine. You purchase the game, you make a copy, and modifying's okay. When they sued the guys who made Game Genie 1 at the end, because they had no rights on the cartridge after they were sold. And Konami, Ultra Games, lost when they tried to make their own cartridges on Nintendo, not because they had no rights, but because they had obtained the special code to play the game specifically from Nintendo. If they had done the work or investigated, or by reverse engineering...
you're not thinking of Konami, you're thinking of Tengen.
If they had done the work of investigating or reverse engineering, the code would be a different story. And on the online media is worse. Have you forgotten the Nintendo Creators Program? It was there not only to get money from creators who are promoting Nintendo, like reviews, LPs, they had to approve the content, meaning not bad press or else. And they just dropped it because they were losing a lot of resources on monitoring. On EVO, the only major gaming tournament, it's the only company that has been so problematic that not even Capcom with implementing a new Street Fighter. Rewarding Smash, there is no way they will allow this to continue. They want it... They want it dead. Like, not only requesting EVO to drop it, not even on the second floor of tournaments, it's been a meme or joke on how much they'll do to stop this community. I hope Sakurai has nothing to do with this. After all, he admitted the reason for tripping on Brawl was to mitigate the competitive scene. Oh, yeah? And about modifying Smash, Project M is a version you didn't need to brick the Wii, just an SD copy and enjoy. Yeah, I think Mr. Ryu showed us that version of the game was pretty entertaining.
I would actually like to play that these days.
There was no reason for filing a cease and desist on them. I know they said in a statement they also imply legal issues, so Nintendo could, warn them if they don't stop, we'll do it. I can keep on going in other cases, and Nintendo has to act accordingly to save its interest. And then, regarding for the hardware part, I know they can't sue any customs manufacturers. If they do, then goodbye HDMI mods, customs...
Yeah, no, cases. I don't think that's a thing.
That's unlikely.
Yeah.
And then one more... a couple more comments from the same person. On KOF, King of Fighters, I'm a big fan of the story and fighting style. Unlike Street Fighter,
I love it.
There was a plot from day one, and before it was an annual release, it was great to see more fighters in different systems. I played an arcade, so I could give you the full story from 94 to 03. After they focused on consoles, I didn't play
I would like to hear that, actually.
I tried Maximum Impact, but that was more like a sequel of Fatal Fury or Art of Fighting. I played the KOF AS on Android. It's a great gacha, and haven't spent a lot of money on it, just time. And then last comment, my favorite Christmas special is Scrooged. I saw it as a kid, and the ghost from Christmas Future was nightmare fuel. Yeah, that's the one part of the movie I saw. It's what the fuck? It's weirdly creepy.
How about when the Ghost of Christmas past, like, clocks him in the face. She actually, like, really clocks him in the face.
Oh.
And he needed to go to the emergency room, I think.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah.
And anyway, good story, and it was also promoted like a follow-up to Ghostbusters in some posters. Also, the Jim Carrey movies, The Grinch and A Christmas Carol as Mr. Scrooge. I forgot about that, where he was CG Mr. Scrooge. The Uncanny Valley of CGI of Carry On Everyone, also Nightmare Fuel. I have no consoles at the moment, but I'm playing Among Us on mobile and KOFAS.
Oh, good for you.
Drop, COD, and others. And just to mention about something I forgot on Tuesday's RC, I mean, that's okay, we're reading this all at once anyway. Nintendo also did something bad, not wrong, but was the ban of a Joy-Con charity in memory of Etika.
Yeah, I'm not down with that. I'm not agreeing with that one at all. I don't understand why they would put the kibosh on that one.
Yeah, and then we got...
apparently, what it was. Apparently that it was also with the Smash thing.
Okay.
And it was like kind of sort of resolved.
Okay.
Amicably.
And then 2 more comments. Living Corpse is a quick one. Gundam Wing Endless Waltz is a Christmas movie. Changed my mind. I'll take your word.
Yeah, I haven't seen it.
I've never touched Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
And then School Filmer. Here's what I've been playing lately. I got Pure Pool on the Switch, and am quite enjoying it so far.
I want to check that one out.
Yeah, I like playing pool at the handy-capable apartment common room, even if the table isn't quite up to par, with the balls getting partly stuck in the holes on the way down. And this will tide me over until the pool table's back to its normal spot. Another game I finished recently is Golf Story. Yeah, I've heard of that one.
I love that.
Which reminds me of the GBC version of Mario Golf, even if it's only played on the front nines. One can only wonder what the back nines would look like. On to Christmas stuff, there was one calendar serial which used whatever the hand gestures used to communicate with the deaf is called. Sign language?
Yep.
That's it. Yeah. Which was quite nice. And I have a DVD set of another calendar serial that came with a soundtrack and a separate CD. There's also another calendar serial where it's a parody of reality series where 24 people live in a barn, each of them dressed up as Santa with a white or gray beard. It plays with the usual tropes of reality series in general, and the actors do a great job of showing off their personalities. All right. And the question is from School Filmer. What are some underutilized gimmicks in games you want to see more of? Let me put this in perspective. There's a game called Clever and Smart, a movie adventure, a point-and-click adventure game where you control the 2 titular characters. The gimmick here is that if you have a microphone, you can play the game with 2 players, one on mouse and one on mic. I haven't seen that gimmick since then. Huh.
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of Lifeline. Remember Lifeline?
I saw it in store shelves. That was when you could command troops or something with a microphone?
It wasn't a troop. It was almost like a Resident Evil style like puzzle action game, but you command the character via headset.
You could kind of do that with Mass Effect 3?
But you can't control the character at all with your controller. You have to yell at
Yes, I think it was there was the game Rise, if you remember that.
Oh, that was the Xbox One launch title?
Yes, that was like had like voice command for when you phalanxing got up. But it didn't work out too well.
I'm in terms of like gimmicks and stuff like that. I'm still a big fan of the light gun. I wish the light gun would make some kind of return.
Yeah, I definitely want to see like retrofitting. Like I would love to see them make it so that you can use light guns on older games on HDTVs. I want to play Time Crisis like the real way. That'd be great.
I mean, they could technically bring back all that stuff for the Switch. I mean, the Joy-Con can double as like a Wiimote kind of controller. So
yeah, and even the Nintendo Wii,
they can make it happen.
And even the Nintendo Wii's Wiimote was great because it didn't care what TV you had. It was just the sensor bar, which was a great idea.
Yeah, I mean, there were some really great ports of old light gun games. I mean, they had the LA Machine Guns,
House of the Dead, 2 and 3.
House of the Dead. Yeah, there were plenty of light gun style games on that.
Sin and Punishment, really Star Successor. That wasn't a port; it was a new one.
There was a Dead Space game that was a light gun game.
Oh, Extraction. Yeah, that also worked with the Move on PS3.
Yeah.
That was a legit game, by the way. That was actually like a quality title.
Yeah, I mean, I actually really like gimmicky kind of stuff, believe it or not. Mostly in retrospect. Because it gets really expensive to buy into like a current gimmick. Like Kinect, when it first came out, was like really, really popular, and then kind of dropped off the face of the earth, which is pretty much a shame because like I feel like if Microsoft had played that correctly, like if they had properly supported it and also didn't make you have to use it on last generation, I think it could have still hung around, but it ended up dying because nobody cared.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those things. I like the ring fit. Ring. I like the papercraft things that they're doing with Labo. I like all that stuff. I like anytime you can do something creative with something that you normally couldn't do before. PSVR, I'm all about it. I love it.
Yeah, I'm all about the VR stuff. I also I can only think of this ever happening once, but with the 3DS with Spirit Camera, you can use the 3DS to look at the little book to see the 3D image. Is that literally the only game where 3D is required to play the game?
I can't think of anything else that would completely ruin the experience unless you didn't have it enabled. I can't think of
and the DS had a bunch of clever stuff you could do with the stylus or closing the DS itself. Things like that were kind of amusing. They don't translate to home console, but it's kind of cool if you have the system.
Yeah, like Hotel Dusk had stuff like that. Yeah. Do you have anything to do with this, Dracologist? Do you have any?
To be honest, these are if we're talking about peripheral things, I'm not sure that PC have ever had something like that. Yeah. The only thing I can think of are feelies, if you ever heard the term.
Oh hell yeah! Those are back when your game was in ASCII, so you'd better get a feelie because this is all the game is. I have a few of those old Infocom games. They got a bunch of feelies.
Not just like ASCII, but some other games I think King Quest had something like that. Anyway, point and click adventure. If those who do not know it because they're too damn young, feelies were basically when you bought a game with a box, there was basically a zip pack worth of items of trinkets basically, and a guidebook or some sort of description book.
At this point, those are in just collector's editions, but back then that was just what came with the game.
Sort of, but feelies had their uses. They were they weren't just here's a sculpture of the character's ass or something, but here's a badge. If you were playing a police detective, you would get a badge or something.
Yeah. And well, I mean, again, some
stuff like
games,
that.
Some newer. Yeah, go ahead.
And sometimes they actually had ARG related stuff, if I think correctly.
Sometimes with Spirit Camera with the
extra information, or some sort of puzzle, a code that could be made slightly easier, because it had some sort of cipher on it.
Yeah,
that helped you. That could be I do like the concept of ARG, but not the longhand ARG when they you have to go travel across the globe to find the.
Well, no one expects you to do that. That's more of a promotional thing. But it makes me think of Star Tropics, where you have to dunk the paper in the water to reveal the code or whatever.
Yeah, I love stuff like that. I love look on the back of the CD case kind of stuff, from Metal Gear. I think that's really cool. I really love stuff like that.
What else is there?
I don't know. I like kind of stuff like this, but it also hinders the longevity of a lot of these things.
It hinders when it has a Steam release.
Yeah. It hinders ports of it later on.
I don't know. You could make absolute trinkets USB connected items that would do something
Well, I mean, again, you could, but usually it's collector's edition stuff, which doesn't actually enhance gameplay. It'll be the casino poker chips for Duke Nukem Forever and stuff like that. It's it's thematically related, but
Yeah.
The main thing I've seen that actually enhances gameplay, I mentioned this a long time ago on the podcast, was when Limited Run Games did a physical release of Firewatch, which came with the map. So you could just look at the actual map instead of having to bring it up in-game. So you could look at the map while moving around.
Yeah. I actually kind of like maps that are functional like that.
Yeah, Hollow Knight had from Fangamer had a map as well, like very useful.
I just got that hand drawn games NES guide for Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
Or something that
did you end up ordering that?
I did.
Oh, awesome! I was really.
I don't
excited.
know. Like right now, the closest thing I can think of would be the various like FNAF paraphernalia that has the various extended universe lore bits. Like there was some sort of booklet, like survival guide booklet, which was somewhat interesting.
Oh yeah, there was also this was kind of a gimmick in itself. It was kind of related to its nature, but there was a horror game on the on mobile called the Year Walk.
Oh yeah, that's on Steam now.
Yeah, it's on Steam now.
I know that. Oh blimey, I think it had a very good moment and a very shitty moment. A shitty moment was basically just jump scare, but the good moment was really good.
Yeah, no, it had a really great end to it. But what I thought was really neat was in its original form, you actually needed to download a second app in order to progress the game, because like the second app was basically like almost like it described all the demons that you were encountering. It was kind of like a bestiary.
They were the mythical creatures more like, not demons.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. But yeah, it was neat because like in order to progress, you had to get information from that second app in order to move forward. I'm sure it's a different menu in the Steam version of that.
Yeah, that's kind of like the Witcher games where you have to learn about the environment you're in and the creatures you're encountering so you know what potions to make to fight them.
Yeah, that's neat.
That said, like this kind of reminds me of another that augmented reality type games. Like I think there was a game called Invisimals.
I've heard of it.
Which was like a It was like a Pokemon-like game where you had to collect little sort of strange little mythical creatures through the phone app, like camera. I think. It was a thing. I think.
Yeah.
So those are good. Like I think one of the interesting what was it called? Sort of idea was like that. What Yahtzee said one of his Let's Play videos where he said like a point-and-click adventure game through your phone in an augmented reality, where it like you have to solve puzzles by using the like SATMAP coordinations and such.
Well, I think unless we have any further comments, we should wrap things up. Unless you have anything else to say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess regarding augmented reality, the only other thing I'll throw out is just the entire concept of Pokemon Go. Like stuff like that's very cleverly done.
Yeah, I mean, it's not my type of game, but I like the concept.
Yeah.
Whatever gets the people out of their asses.
Yep.
So.
Well, that's the show for this week. We want to thank all of our fans who contributed questions and comments. These were really great, and thank you, Baka Sensei, for chiming in. First time in a long time. Please keep us supplied with awesome topics by submitting questions of your own via the YouTube and SoundCloud pages. While there, please give us thumbs up, likes, and 5-star ratings on iTunes. It helps promote and spread awareness of the show, and any bit of encouragement helps keep the show going. You can also catch us on Tuesday for our sister podcast, Corrective Consciousness, the in-depth look at this week in our lives. Finally, you can friend me as vysethebold on pretty much everything.
And you can follow me on my YouTube channel, Lotus Prince. You can hit me up on Twitter at Lotus Prince. And finally, if you are interested in seeing my videos early, getting in on exclusive live streams, selecting upcoming games for me to Let's Play, or getting in conversations with me and other patrons on Discord, then perhaps consider swinging by my Patreon account, which can be found on patreon.com/LotusPrince.
almost messed that up, but you
yeah, I saved it.
You reined it back in.
And you can find me on Skype, Discord, and Steam under the name Dracologist.
Yeah, you were much more inviting this time around. Good Dracologist. All right, we will catch everybody next week with a new episode of Reactive on Tuesday.
Until next time, everyone.
Doodle-doo.